Toot 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 toot. Toot 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 toot. Oh, hello. I am Toot Toot the Loxodon Bard, and as we are preparing the spell components for Modify Memory, so that we can make our theme song proper always in your head at all times, they asked me to come out on the stage and prepare a little thaumaturgy to give you a replacement theme song until then. So, here we go. D&Me. D&Me. Is this show? I don't know the rest of the words. What was that? Tipsy, get off the table.
No.
How much have you had to drink?
Not enough.
Onyx, could you please help me? Get off the table. No, Tipsy, come back. I am sorry about that. But please enjoy the show. Tipsy, I swear to the gods, come back here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Rivera, and this is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself. And hello and welcome to episode 7. Thank you so much for joining me. What a pleasure. To get into it, a little D&M pre-show. I am COVID negative. I had a test yesterday. I got the results today. I didn't have any worry whatsoever, but we have free resources down here in Georgia where you can get tested, and I tested negative, so that's always a celebration. And I was just going through my notes. I like to spend all of Wednesday preparing for my adventure tonight, and I noticed that I have 25 pages of notes for D&Me so far. And that's just for, like, the game instead of all the technical stuff and the branding and the. So that's just a lot out of the 6 episodes and change right now. 25 pages of notes on my Word document. That's bonkers. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Here at the beginning, we have little segments, and so last week I ended the D and D disclaimers, where at the beginning of all the source books and campaign guides, there's a little disclaimer, and I have like 17 other ones I could do, but I did the most important 5 ones. But we have some more D&D dedications, or D&D people who worked on Waterdeep Dragon Heist. So last week I thanked interior illustrators Eric Deschamps and Jason Thompson. And then this week I'd like to thank interior illustrators Julian Koch, who liked and responded to one of my tweets on Twitter. Thank you very much. You can find Julian at Julianimator. So it's Julian Imator. So it's Julian and Animator put together, which is very clever. I like that a lot. Portmanteaus. And then the second one is Christopher Moeller, who responded to my Facebook post. Thank you both very much, Julian and Christopher. What a lovely... This was weeks ago where I spent a couple days reaching out to as many people as I can that worked on Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and they have been wonderful in liking my tweets and responding, and it just makes me feel great as a player in the community that the people who worked on the Ding Dang thing are personable. So thank you very much. Let's see, what else? I have a couple things before we start officially. So this past week I learned, as part of D&M research after the fact, that the gnomes and halflings, in my head, the 5.5 years that I've been playing D&D, that halflings are like hobbit size, and I thought gnomes were slightly smaller than that. So I thought gnomes were the smallest race in D&D, which made sense to me. This week, I learned that it's not the case. Halflings are 3 feet tall, and then gnomes can be 3 feet to 4 feet tall, which just about blew my mind. I don't know what to do with that information, but I thought Tipsy was going to be the smallest. I mean, he's under 3. He's 2 feet and 10 inches, but boy howdy. But it also says that both gnomes and halflings weigh 40 pounds. So even though gnomes can be 30% larger, they're still the same weight. So that like a 4-foot gnome would just look like if you turn a piece of paper sideways, just disappear. So that's, I mean, it's nothing, but I thought it was interesting. Also, I have some D&M revisions. So while I was editing the audio for episode 2 for the podcast, which I wanted to edit as much as I can, maybe up to 5, and then I'll publish out the link for that. I am using anchor.fm for all my podcast needs. I figured out 2 things. One, Tipsy at one point hid under a table, and since he was hidden, he would have had advantage while shooting a sturge. So the arrow just flew right by where I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, he would have had advantage. So that's one. And then two times my half-orc thug named Yagra Stonefist went unconscious, went down to 0 hit points, where they are half-orc, and I didn't remember until I pulled this card, last episode, where half-orcs have this relentless endurance, where if you go down to 0 hit points, then you pop back up for 1 hit point. So Toot might have saved a healing because Yagra would have bounced back up. Is that a plane? Man, I am hearing all the weirdest noises outside my apartment. It's okay. So, I mean, both of those don't mean a lot in the grand scope of things, but I just want you to know that I am paying attention and I'm picking up stuff. So, there we go. And then, before we head into the episode proper, this is very important, D&Recon, or D&Recon. That one doesn't work as well. But Onyx and Toot last episode were in a warehouse full of boxes, full of armor and boots and weapons and blah, 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 blah. And then I thought this past week, you know what? They actually do really want some armor, because 3 out of my 4 characters have a 13 armor class. And Tipsy, for some unknown reason, has 17, which is awesome. But I want just a little bit more protection for my barbarian and my bard. So both of these guys are getting some armor right now. So as part of the D&M recap, I will slide in the D&M retcon. Here we go. Last episode, after my boys went into the Skewered Dragon and met with Ibupropaine and Ago that gave them clues to head up to Candle Lane to check out this warehouse that the Zents might have taken Floon, which is their target, their mission. Sure. Taken Floon up to this warehouse, and my boys tried to sneak in, but then Toot fell ass over tea kettle, and they ended up fighting in the last episode some Kenku, which are these raven folk who are cursed so that they can only mimic whatever they heard. And after making them fall asleep a couple times and then tying them up a couple times, then they found out that some of the Xanathar guild came in to this Zent warehouse and pretty much killed everybody, and then took Floon down into the sewers for a reason. And my boys now will be looking through the sewers with Rainier Neverember, who Rainier thinks that the Xanathar guild mistook Floon for Rainier, and that's why they took him instead of him. So we'll see. But as soon as they're about to leave the warehouse, then Toot and Onyx, as they're stepping out of the door, get a ping of, hold on. So Toot turns around and goes to one of the open crates that were smashed open and goes, Onyx, did you? And then Onyx is right there. And so both of them go scouring through the boxes. And Toot finds this, they're mostly like black Kevlar, which I mentioned and described. And they have this little intricate cursive Zorro Z on the chest of them. And they're all like black tactical outfits, except for Toot is found like a studded leather set of armor. deep in a pile of one of the crates, and he takes it out and goes, I can take out that Z because I don't want them to know that I am taking the Rainier. I am taking this for protection. You understand? I understand. I would do the same thing, but I have a pretty good armor class at 17. So you have a 17 armor class? I have a 17 armor class. Tipsy, you have a 17 armor class? Yeah, what do you guys have? And then Toot Toot and Rock and Onyx kind of, I'm a fragile. I prefer magic. I don't do up close combat as well. I have 13. Onyx, you have 13. You're a beefy boy. So Toot Toot takes out a studded leather armor, and then he starts to, with like a small knife, cut the Z embroidery out of it. There we go. And I'll scruff it up a little bit to look. Well, I mean, it's a nice piece, but I don't want them to know it's Zent, so I'll just take off that Z and kind of. And so he'll actually cast Mending, which is a cantrip, and Mending is where you can like cure a foot of damage off of something, and then it'll seem like the damage never happened at all. So after he methodically takes out all the embroidery of it, and then he puts his giant meaty Loxodon hand over it, and then you can see like underneath, as if he has like a little light, then his palm glows towards the surface of the studded leather, and then you see like it bleeding through. And when you raise it up, then none of the little dots making that Z are there. And he goes, that is nice. And so he starts to put it on. So now he has studded leather armor, which is 12 plus his dexterity modifier, which is 2. So now he has a 14 armor class instead of a 13 armor class. It's not a lot, but every point helps. So that's him. And then Onyx goes just... You can see Toot Toot holding up and delicately like brushing some of the little loose threads off of his embroidered studded leather armor, and he goes, see, there we go. That's very nice. And then you hear, and then you see in the background Onyx just charging into a crate, and then the crate exploding. And he emerges with like this just one piece. It's a breastplate, and it's that black Kevlar, and he goes, I found one. Okay, but take the Z off of it, because we don't want, the Zents to know that we've taken some of their wear. Okay. And then Onyx, like, puts the Z, which is a bigger embroidered kind of silver spray paint on a stencil all over the front of it, and then he takes it, slams it down onto the concrete floor of the warehouse, and then I have my dice separated out this time instead of digging through my Taco Bell cup. I'm learning. So Onyx will roll strength to, let's see, plus 4, 11 plus 4, 15. Yeah, sure. So it looks haggard. It looks like it was graded, but he holds it up. Ta-da! And there's no more Z on it, but it also looks like he was Indiana Jones dragged behind a Jeep and then just... So it's really rough. It's not the pristine studded leather that Tutu has. And they take the time to put their armor on underneath their winter wear, because I'm not going to change these Hero Forges again. And Onyx has a breastplate now, which is 14 plus his dex modifier, which is nothing. So both of them went from a 13 to a 14, but it was important for me, and here and here and here. So thank you for bearing with me for that D&D Recon. And just so you know, Toot's studded leather armor is light armor, and that's 45 gold pieces worth. And then Onyx's breastplate is medium armor. It's 400 gold pieces. It's bonkers. So, the rest of the D&D recap, after my boys pick up their new armor and their new friend in Rainier Neverember, then Onyx picks up his silver ingots again, and they trudge also just a little tangent, little footnote. I'll hold this just to remember where I was. But onyx carrying 80 pounds of silver ingot. I looked it up, and dwarves weigh 150 pounds. Like, the average race weighs 150 pounds. So, yeah, that's more than half his weight. So, he will be doing some rolls associated with it. So, I just wanted, because I was like, 60, is that a lot? I mean, he's a very strength boy, but, so, yes, it is a lot. And that will reflect here later on in the episode. So, they leave the warehouse. Then they kind of walk around to find a manhole cover, and they find one in Troll Crook Alley, which is slightly south of them on Zastra Street and then a little bit west. And they go down the manhole cover, and they find themselves in the dark sewers under Waterdeep. And that is where we resume. So when they splash down into the bottom, it's this tunnel. You can see the shaft of light that the manhole cover that they are under exudes the light from now. And they can see another light source of just that pinprick column later on, and one behind them. But on the wall is this palm-sized symbol drawn in yellow chalk of a circle and then 10 equidistant lines, 10 lines going like to the left of it. So they can tell that they're going to go in this direction because it's a modification of the the Xanathar Guild emblem that they learned, which is a circle with 10 equidistant lines from it. And now we are in the sewers. It's gross water. And you can hear it. So there's a foot of sewage here at the bottom. So you can hear the, and it's gross, and the smell's horrific. And you can hear the, of things dripping, but there's 5 people down here sloshing about in the foot of thing. And Tipsy, if you remember, he's 2'10", so he gets down and he's like instantly covered up to his waist, and he's like, is it really raining hard? Or is that my computer freaking out? My computer's having a little bit of trouble. That's okay. So he splashes down, and then his like belt down is covered in sewage, and he was already, because of the last episode, he was covered in like this black schmutz all over. And so he looks down, and the windbreaker is kind of waterproof, but not really. Like when it sits in water, then it starts absorbing it, which is just gross. And he goes, can someone help me, please? I don't want to be, that kind of guy, but I don't think I can make it very far wading through all of this probably literal shit. And then Toot Toot, who has a better strength? Yeah, Toot Toot goes, I don't, yeah, I'll help, but I don't want to like put you on my shoulders because this is brand new, and I don't want all of that. Can you, I don't want to treat you like a toddler, Tipsy. Please treat me like a toddler. Okay, I will. So he picks him up and then has him like on his hip. But you have to guide me. Do you want me to go first? Because you have dark vision. Who here has dark vision? Because I do not. And then Tipsy and Rock and Onyx all raise their hand. And Rainier goes, I cannot see in the dark either. It is quite dark down here. It's literal. I can barely see anything. So, if you all won't mind, I would prefer assistance as well. So, I think I said an order at the end of the last episode, but I'm going to tweak it a bit because I didn't realize there was a foot of shit. So, where does it say a foot? It says somewhere. So Tipsy goes, yeah, I mean, I can help look out if you want us to go first. and then maybe Onyx, and then Rainier, and then Rock holding up the bag. Is that okay? I don't want to be like the... That sounds perfectly fine. That makes sense. So, Toot Toot and Tipsy, my T's, lead the pack. Toot Toot has Tipsy on his hip, and then Toot Toot literally can't see anything. Dark vision allows you to see in dim light up to 60 feet as if it was normal light-ish, I think. And then if it's complete darkness, then you can see 60 feet as if it was dim light. But this is nothing. So Toot Toot will kind of, because he is 7'3", he will extend his one hand out to the wall and feels like it's slimy, but he can touch it from where he is in the middle of the sewer pipe. So he can kind of run his gloved hand, because, yeah, he has gloves, his gloved hand over that, because he can feel like it's normal concrete texture of just like there's a little prickly bits, but it's mostly smooth, but it's also slimy. So he Luke Skywalker closes his eyes and begins to slosh forward through the foot of shit, but that's only 1/7 of his height instead of half his height. So he runs his hand also, and then Tipsy's kind of like an attentive child, like a toddler having eaten chocolate, just looking out. So Toot Toot, with his eyes closed, will use his keen hearing, because his ears would extend out behind Tipsy, and then Tipsy is there. So I will say that their role, one will help the other and the other will help the other. So I will say for this, let's see, sewer background check. So yeah, I will have Tipsy roll with advantage because he's on the lookout and he has a higher vantage point, but he has his mode of transportation, his mount right now, using keen hearing. So I'll actually roll 2 things for Toot Toot right now for advantage to see how well he helps out Tipsy. Well, that's narrative. So that is a 4 and a 6 for perception, I would say, which is a +3. So that ends up being a 7 and a 9. Which, that makes sense because his eyes are closed. He can't see anything. He is trying to daredevil, like, make a mental echolocation sense of the layout of this pipe, but it's not really working because there's a whole bunch of drips and then 4 pairs of legs sloshing. So he can't really do all that much. I will say instead of advantage, then Tipsy gets like a +3 to whatever all this is because Toot Toot rolled a +3. So it's not like a full-on advantage, but it is some gain. That is a 10, but Tipsy has a +8, so that's 18, plus the 3, so that's 21. So this eye of a Tipsy is like koala clinging. This is great. This is a good episode so far. Koala clinging to Toot Toot and is just absorbing all the visual information, and he can spot out like the shafts of light coming down, and the manhole covers are closed, so it's like 6 thin shafts instead of the gaping hole that they left. Would they have closed the manhole cover? Let's see. Evens, yes. Odds, no. Even has E's, and the yes does also, and then odds have the O, so no. Odd. So they would not have closed it, because that was a 7. They would not have closed the manhole cover. That's fine. So they're walking down, splishing and splashing, and Tipsy, keeping his eye out with a 21, can spot when the palm size location markers are. And so they start heading southward. and they keep coming onto these chalk drawings on the wall, all 10 of the lines pointing in the direction they should be going. And occasionally they come to like an intersection where they don't see an obvious chalk drawing, but then when Tipsy looks hard, then he can see where it was smudged off. And let's see. Again, I'm glad I'm not a car guy. And the group is wise enough that they can put together that the symbols are erased by members of the Xanathar Guild or the Dung Sweepers Guild every few days, but these markings have yet to be removed. So some of them are brushed off, and some of them aren't as fresh and bright yellow as some of the others that they come across. But it takes almost an hour to just keep going, and then they come across a 3-way intersection where a ladder, so this is a shaft of light, leads up to a stone shaft capped by a circular metal cover. This one's slightly brighter than all the other ones. One of the familiar chalk symbols is marked on the wall nearby, and floating above the symbol is a spherical grapefruit-sized creature with a bulging center eye and 4 stumpy eye stalks. And it comes straight at my boys, so they all need to roll initiative. All right, Tipsy, 19 plus 3. Holy cow. Okay, that's 22. Onyx, 0 initiative, but he got a natural 20. What? Rock, 2 plus 2. Okay, so that is not a loaded die. 4. I'll tell you about that in a second. Rainier, 18, and he is a swashbuckler. So that is 18 plus dexterity. Holy cow. Wait. Yeah. So 18 plus 4, that's 22. They're going real fast. And then Toot Toot has a plus 3, so 17, because that was a 14 plus 3. What was I just going to say? Oh, I went through all of my dice in my Taco Bell cup, and I did a saltwater test, which is you put a lot of salt in some water, and then you stir it around and make sure it's all mixed up. And then you throw these dice in it, and then if you put enough salt in, then eventually they'll all float. And you can tell if a dice is correctly balanced, because when you poke it, then it can spin to any number, and it doesn't like course correct as it comes back up. But if it is not balanced, then you put it in the water and then you poke it, and then it comes up with like the same numbers at the top. So some of them came up with like if you poke it, then it comes back down and it has an 8, which is right next to the 20. So like if you poke it and then you try and disturb it a lot, and then if it keeps correcting to have 8 at top, then you're like, okay, well, it's a very pretty die, but it's not balanced. So these are all definitively balanced. There we go. Now let's put these in order. Oh, the thing needs to do initiative too. I know I was forgetting something. I'm always forgetting something. That plus its dexterity. All right. They all went very quick. Wow. Okay. So here's the thing. Onyx rolled a natural 20, which is the best you can do for anything, but he has a 0 initiative. And Tipsy and Rainier both rolled 22, so that's technically better than just a straight natural 20. But, yeah, no, I'll make that happen. So, Tipsy and Rainier go first. Rainier's dexterity is 3, and then Tipsy's is 3 as well. So we're gonna... Oh, no! His is slightly higher. Nope. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Nope. Yep. Rainier's is higher. So this thing comes at... It will do... This tiny floating eye that's just manic looking with one eye in the middle and then 4 kind of stumpy eye stalks at the top, comes chattering at the boys, and they will attack the Toot Tipsy combo. So I will roll. If it's odd, it'll be Toot. If it's even, it'll be Tipsy. That's a 15 odd. Toot. It will attack the giant hulking 7'3" form, and then it will actually do. Let's see. It'll do this. It'll do this because it's cool. So it out of the shadows, and it spooks the hell out of all of them. And then it targets at Toot. Do I need to? Yeah. Okay. I will roll for this. Is that how this works? Excuse me. Pardon me. Because this is a surprise round. Okay. Good. It will roll a 1d4. So 104. It rolls a 1. So it moves close within Toot, but then one of its eye stalks like straightens up and points right at Toot, and cool. And this purple light, like this purple beam, comes out, and it has some sparkles in it. Comes out of the eye stalk at Toot, and let's see, Toot. Golly, no, Toot had to roll a wisdom saving throw. Toot rolled a 2, so that's from charmed. I am so glad I prepared so much before all of everything, because I have little footnotes and okay, what does that mean? Okay, that's perfect. I love narrative. So, or be charmed. Okay, great. Perfect. So, he rolled a 2 plus 1 wisdom for his wisdom saving throw. But he has Loxodon Serenity, which means that as a racial trait, he gets advantages on things of exactly this nature. So let's see how he rolls, and then that qualifies how I explain this. That's a 2 again. Toot rolled 2 2s. And I did the saltwater balance on it, so this was just bad luck. So, oh man, Toot rolled 2 2s. Fart. Okay, well, so much for fucking Loxodon Serenity. So, Loxodon Serenity gives advantages on saving throws against being charmed. So this dazing ray streaks down, this purple energy hits Toot in the face, and then he shrugs it off, and then just shrugs it off again, but he rolled 2 2s, so he goes and he looks over at Tipsy, who is looking at Toot wide-eyed, and then because now in this kind of 3-way intersection, there is light coming down from the stone cylinder above the stone shaft. So Toot goes, "Ew, no," and then lets go of Tipsy. Well, it's not Toot's turn, but as a reaction, sure, I'll let that happen. Ew, no, and then Tipsy, and then he falls into the. He's just covered in the muck now, and then the tiny gazer is what this gross aberration is called. Where are you? An aberration? Aberration. Then looks at the next tallest one, which I think is... Oh, dear. How tall did I say Rainier was? I don't recall. Let's see. So, Rainier, I think, is shorter than Rock. So, this Gazer will target... Let's roll for it, huh? Let's see. There are 5 people left. So I'll roll a D10. So it will be in the... No, there's 4 people left. Because he can't do... Okay, well, I'll roll a D4 again. So Tipsy's 1, Rainier's 2, Onyx is 3, Rock is 4. Because the initiative order is Tipsy and Rainier have 22, Onyx has the natural 20, Rock has... well, that's not right. There we go. Toot Toot has 17, and then Rock has 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, Tipsy, Rainier, Onyx, Toot Toot, Rock. So he targets Rainier, the beefy-looking one, the beefy, handsome-looking one. And then this Gazer will roll the 1d4 again. And then that is a 4. So, great. This green beam comes from another stalk and hits Rainier. Let's see if Rainier does his thing. Do he? Yes, he does. Great. So, this green beam reaches out of the eye stalk and splashes onto Rainier's chest, and it melts off of him, and you can see him kind of shrugging off the effect and then look up unaffected, and then the Gazer goes and then it goes backwards a little bit, and it is now Tipsy's turn. Tipsy splashed down into the muck, and he uses half his movement to get up, and it's like spits, and he goes,
Ah! No! Toot Toot, how could you? It's in my mouth.
and then Waddles pokes out of his pocket and just...
Oh. Well, I don't like that very much, huh?
And then he looks up at the... Oh, all very interesting. All very interesting. Okay. So... Tipsy will take out... Because the Gazer's like 10 feet up and 10 feet out. Just make it easy. So Tipsy will ready his short bow and then just... Oh no, that's not my hair! And just cocking it. Oh no, I thought it was a crossbow. So he's just... And then fires at the Gazer. 18 plus 6. Yeah, that'll hit. Let's see. I can draw all this out. Huh. Let's see. Toot Toot. Tipsy. Rainier. Onyx. Rock. Everyone's favorite part. Watching me draw on a sheet of paper you will never see. So, Tipsy shoots. It was a 18 plus 6, 24. That hits the Gazer, whose armor class is 13. And I rolled for the Gazer's hit points. So, Oh, I could do that. There we go. Every episode gets a little bit better. Do-do-do-do-do. How much damage is this? That's 1d6 plus 3 damage. 1d6, please. So, 6 plus 3. That's 9 damage. Okay. Plus 9, Tipsy, crossbow. Because he can't really hide anywhere. And the reason I looked up halfling versus gnome height is because halflings have this race trait, which is they can like duck and hide, like go through people's legs of a medium size or bigger. And I was like, why can't gnomes do that? And then I looked it up and I was like, gnomes are slightly bigger than halflings. What? That's a bunch of bullshit. But I didn't design okay, Dungeons & Dragons, I don't think it's bullshit, but just a little bit. I thought gnomes were smaller, so it's fine. So, Tipsy pulling out a long curly hair from his mouth, just, and then hits one of the eye stalks and like through it, and the arrow goes through, and then the eye stalk just kind of shaking. Oh, that's interesting. Let's see which eye stalk it hits, because then it'll be okay. Against the dazing ray, which worked against Toot Toot. So that one's damaged. I don't know if it's out of commission, but so that's Tipsy, and then he will interesting for I have 80 things going on at the same time, which is what I signed up for. Okay, he will, with his, well, can he do, no, I think, okay, he was going to do a spell, but that's not part of his bonus actions. So he'll just kind of move 10 feet down. So he stood up with half his movement, so he will move 15 feet. Y'all hear that? My computer's really struggling. I'm sorry. We'll move 15 feet down the sewer still. And since Toot Toot is charmed, what does it mean for him being charmed? Oh my god. Listen, you poor thing. That's not great. Oh my gosh. Oh, that computer is doing a hissy fit. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was going to blame the 12-year-old MacBook Pro down here, but wrong button. Charmed. What does it mean to be charmed? Charmed creature can't attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. The charmer has advantage on any ability check to interact socially with the creature. Oh, okay. So that's not the same as, like, friends or cast charm person. Oh, well, yeah, it didn't really say in the dazing array. Charmed until the start of the gazer's next turn. While the target is charmed in this way, his speed is halved and has disadvantage on attack rolls. So would he try and attack stuff? I don't know. So technically, Toot Toot dropped Tipsy, and that was his like reaction. So he can't have an opportunity attack as Tipsy like sloshes back. He will sloshes forward through the muck. All right, next it is Rainier's turn. This is going to be cool as hell. Rainier, man, swashbuckler, going to be awesome and showing up my characters. So Rainier, seeing that the gazer is like 10 feet and then 10 feet down, he will run and he will draw his rapier. He's gonna swashbuckle the hell out of this. So he's going to run not at the gazer, but at the stone shaft, which has like a ladder hanging down. And so he will like leap towards the one end of the ladder, try and grab it, and then swing around to make an attack. So he will do an acrobatics check for that. And guess what? The swashbuckler has a +8 to acrobatics. So that's why he's going to do that cool shit. So, man, that's so cool. A 9 plus 8. So yeah, with that, with a 17, he definitely, like, he takes one splash towards the gazer, then kind of leaps and then twirls around the ladder, and then as he does, he very Iago Montoya, like, draws his rapier and then attacks. A 7 plus 6, that is 13. I think it hits the armor class. Just hits the armor class of the gazer at 13. So, how much damage do you do? 1d8 plus 4 piercing damage. Four plus 4, so that is 8 piercing damage. Boy, howdy. Great. That is Rainier's turn, and then he will, like, let go and then splash underneath the gazer and then look up, and the gazer, as he swings about and does the rapier, it, like, slashes through. It's very Iago Montoya again, where it just has that line of blood, like, under his eye. So that's most of the cantaloupe size. Oh, grapefruit, excuse me. But there's like a line of blood, and it starts, and then the gazer, and he lands, he splashes, and it's a very cool Hellboy 2, the elf prince underneath the sewers, splash, and then the muck just, and then Rainier looks up, and then he says, "I've got my eye on you." And then Toot Toot goes, "Oh no, he gets the cool lines also?" And that was a sigh, like of a charging bull. So maybe that charmed effect does a little bit something extra. So now it is the gazer's turn, because his initiative is 21. So he will float above his currently charmed quarry. That's the word I was looking for 27 minutes ago. His charmed quarry. So he will float above Toot Toot 10 feet up. So that's only 2 feet and 7 more inches. Nope. 8 more inches. Nope. 9 more inches. Fucking 12 inches to a foot bullshit. Why can't we... America. The metric system. Tens. Great. How many feet are in a mile? No one knows. Lord of mercy. So he will then shoot his 2 rays at Rock and Onyx, who haven't done damage to him yet, and he doesn't have charmed yet. So this first one, let's see. This first one, if it's even, it goes for Rock. If it's odd, it goes for Onyx. That's a 4 even Rock. Okay, so then another 1d4 for which ray it's going to be. So this is a good spread of rays, because this one, he does this like white with tinges of pale blue out of one of his short stout stalks. And Rock needs to do, a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. Oh boy, this could knock him out. 7 plus dexterity throw. He doesn't have 5 to it. Oh, so close. So 9 fails. So this frost ray is going to do 3d6 cold damage to my poor boy Rock, who already used his relentless endurance in the warehouse. So that's 0 plus ungood. And here are my 3d6s waiting very patiently in a row. Cold damage. Oh boy, blow on this. It's not going to be good. Okay. It's a 5, a 3, and a 1. So that's 9 points. and Rock has 8 points of hit points. So with that, very much reminiscent of the first episode where Rock does the frost ray. I think he did that to one of the bandits. Then his chest, and then the moisture just around and in the sewers, then it hits him in the chest and it spiders out. It like splinters, and you see just this one cough of breath that's cut off halfway, and then he falls backwards and splashes into the muck below. That sucks. So, damn it. It's good though. My wizard has no hit points. And then with his remaining his remaining ray, then my gazer looks over at Onyx, and then Onyx is kind of a little spooked. And then one again, which is the dazing ray, but I will say that one's damaged, and it says something about rerolls also. So the one is the dazing ray, and then 2 is this other ray, which is his last of 4. So this is again a nice spread. He needs to make a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw. All right, Onyx, don't fuck this up. Wisdom saving throw. But he has advantage against effects he can see because of his danger sense. So as a trait, I don't know if it's a racial trait, but maybe a barbarian, he can sense when things aren't as they should be. Advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects he can see. He can see the eye stalks like, and he can see the gazer looking straight towards Onyx, and then like with this sickly yellow thing. So Onyx will have advantage against this. 5 plus, good lord, 5 plus 2 for wisdom. No, but he has advantage. 9 plus 2. He was 1 shy. Oh, fart, y'all. So with this, then Onyx gets a face full of yellow energy, and he goes, and for the first time in 7 episodes, you see Onyx, like his breathing, instead of the shallow anger rage that he has, it's short and shallow and fearful, because this fear ray got him. So Onyx is now frightened until the start of the gazer's next turn, which technically, since this turn has passed, since it is the gazer's started the turn, then Toot Toot's charm goes away, which is very good because they need something. So Onyx is now frightened, which it's a good thing I have the conditions page up. So frightened means that Onyx has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight, and the creature can't. So Onyx can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear. So the gazer is fine where it is. It's not going to do any movement. So Onyx, who's next with the natural 20, he looks up in panic at the gazer and looks around. Oh, that's cool. He looks around and rocks splashed backwards. So Onyx takes this opportunity to... I have this little dry erase sheet protector piece of paper right here to visually remember some things that I say that the character does, like obvious things, and then I draw them so that I can see it because I'm a visual learner, and sometimes my 25 pages of notes, just the paragraphs blurred together. So I can see that Onyx has a silver ingot in each hand, which I was going to roll for next for stuff, but he sees his orc buddy splash into the muck behind him, and he just drops both silver ingots, which that'll be hard to find later, but guess what? So he drops both of them in the foot thick of muck below and goes after... Does he have any healing things, though? Onyx, let's look at your inventory. Onyx's inventory. Ba-doo, ba-doo, boo. Onyx has a ring of sexual magnetism. That will not work in this case right now. He doesn't have any healing, though. Oh, no! Ugh, that's a bummer. My boys need to get health potions, man. So he will... What can he do? He can't attack against the gazer. But, okay, so rock splashes and then floats, and then this just happened. So Onyx will turn around, drop the silver ingots, and then wade through the muck to get to rock, and then just kind of dip. Oh, okay, cool. This is fine. Victor is like, oh, this is so good, but also it's terrifying, and this is taking up half the show so far, and I have so much more planned. It's fine. So he lifts up rock from the muck, and then with his one hand, he will like press on his chest and do a medicine check just to try and stabilize rock. Whew. It's not healing per se, but it will stabilize him if he rolls well. 9 plus a 2, 11. It starts to work. So Onyx starts pressing on his chest, and he doesn't hear the cough yet, but he also he presses his chest to try and make him sputter up, but clears out the airways and the air passages, so wipes his nose and his mouth, and he's doing this, but he's freaking out a little bit. So dang. And then Toot Toot is both. So Toot Toot is staring at Rainier going, that was so cool, but then he kind of snaps out of it and looks up at the gazer, who's just floating above, and the gazer is kind of a little half floating. He hovers, but he's sideways at 45 degrees, and he's kind of limping in the air a little bit, there's a stutter to his hover. And he looks down at Rock and Onyx, just who's and Toot Toot has been doing a lot of healing lately. But Toot Toot's not necessarily built as a healer. It kind of fell to him. And he is lawful good. So he does want to heal. But he also sometimes want to kick ass. So let's see what your actions are. Toot Toot. Toot Toot. I should... Ooh, this is interesting. Bardic Inspiration. Can that work on death saving throws? Whoa, what a cool question. Because as a bonus action, he could cast Bardic Inspiration, which is a D6 on death saves. Oh. Whoa. Interesting. So the online community says that for bardic inspiration, you need to hear it in order to get inspired. So since Rock is unconscious technically, then he can't hear it. However, if he heard it before he fell, like if it's in combat or something, then he could use, arguably, he could use the bardic inspiration for his death save throws, which death saves, again, when you get down to 0 hit points, then at the start of your next turn, then you roll. If you get 3 successes, you live. If you get 3 failures, you die. And it is, if you get a 10 and higher, that is a success. So it's a little bit more fair. It's a 1 through a 9 and then a 10 through 20. So it's 11 chances to get the yes and then 9 chances to get the no. So that's interesting. Hey, good thinking outside the box, Victor. Thanks, Victor. So not a bardic inspiration. A cutting words, vicious mockery, charm person, dissonant whispers. Shatter. Charm person. Mending. Vicious mockery. So he will. Yes, that is what he will do. Toot Toot will look up at the gazer, and he's feeling this rage because he just got, like, he got mind controlled. He could feel that he was charmed. He dropped Tipsy. He didn't want to do that. Rock is now unconscious, and his friend is scared. Rainier, the NPC, stole his thunder, so he will cast Dissonant Whispers at the gazer, and with that, he will say, excuse me, he will say, I want you out of my head, it's driving me mad, it's driving me mad. And then, with that, Toot Toot, I swear he's better at this, but this is all on the fly. So, he will, the gazer will roll, will roll a wisdom saving throw, and if it beats Toot Toot's something something, it does not. That is a 9, but hold on, plus, what's Toot Toot's wisdom shit? Or his spellcasting modifier. Toot Toot's spell save DC is 13. Gazer rolled a 9 plus a, let's see, wisdom, 0 wisdom. Whew, awesome. Nope. Wisdom saving throw plus 2 for the gazer, and that is 11, so that still doesn't hit Toot Toot's spell DC. So Dissonant Whispers, he gets 3d6 damage of psychic damage, which I already have out, and then he uses his reaction to move as far away as its speed allows him from us. So, ooh, that's pretty good. That is 6, 2 and a 2, so 10 altogether. Excellent. And you see Toot Toot just, and then this golden burst of energy comes out of him, and then just goes to like either side of the gazer's head, and then just like smashes it kind of like a coconut, and it goes, and you can see its eye is just whirling around in its head, volleyball head, and then the eye stalks are kind of freaking out and like crossing their eyes, and it's like this squirm of eye stalks, and it goes, and it uses its reaction to hover 30 feet away down the sewer. What a great sound effect I'm using for the gazer, by the way. It's very creepy. And I want to do like a horror thing for October, so keep stuff in mind for that. Oh my gosh. So my mom says in the chat, 5,280 feet per mile. But that's, no one knows that, Mom. No, you're so smart. All right, so this gazer also is like its eye is squinted because it's like forming this black eye. It's looking real rough, and it's like kind of bobbing down the sewer, which Toot Toot and Rainier can't really see. But anyways, now it is Rock's turn. Rock, who had an 11. That's not going to be enough. Rock will roll a death saving throw. That is an 8. He fails one death save. Oh boy. Good thing this isn't going to last too many more rounds. So, at the beginning of the order, Tipsy, who shot a bow at it, goes, Tipsy has shit. Tipsy has a huge fucking inventory. All right. Do you have any healing things, Tipsy? My sweet little forest gnome. Potion. Yes, he has a... But does he want to waste it? Okay, cool. So, Tipsy is noticing all this going on, sees the gazers hit pretty bad, squirrels off down the sewer, looks to Rock, who Onyx is kind of trying to breathe life into, and then Toot Toot is reeling, and then Rainier is still superhero 3-point landing right there. And then Tipsy goes, all right, no, I'll be the cool one. And so he splashes. Ooh. Okay, so he moved 15 feet down that way anyways. He will move another 15 feet down because this is the definition of difficult terrain, because he is wading through shit that is half his height. So it's a foot of sewage to his 10'2" form. So he's really struggling. So it's using all of his movement to get another 15 feet, which will, like, the gazer is well within his capabilities. And so he goes, I should have done this earlier, man. I need to read my inventory better. And he pulls out the magical automatic throwing knife, which automatically hits whatever they're aimed at. That would have saved issues in the first episode, in the second episode, and probably other things too. But he takes this dagger and goes, oh, yeah! And then he flings it. I just want to see if it hits super good. Then it'll make something great happen. That's a 9. No, but it automatically hits, which is a little OP, but that's okay. I wasn't supposed to spend an hour and 7 minutes on this gazer fight. So it automatically hits. He will roll 1d6. That's a 3 plus his dex, which is 3. So with that, Tipsy chucks the dagger, and then as the gazer, and like a green grape, then it kind of pops, and like its skin, like a water balloon, kind of around just its eye, and it splashes into the muck, and it's just floating there. And then the gazer's dead. And Onyx is no longer frightened. What other effects? The frost ray doesn't have a thing, and then the dazing ray, and then the telekinesis, which did not work on... Telekinetic ray did not work on Rainier. So all of the gazer effects are done. So Rainier, he doesn't have anything to help Rock. Gazer's dead. Onyx will make another medicine check. Oh, well, okay, so Rainier can get up with his action, because we're still in the slow-mo bullet time. He can come over and then assist Onyx with, Rainier got a cool swashbuckler swash. So Onyx can be good at a medicine check. So Rainier kind of puts his hand on Onyx's. Okay, great. So he accepts the weight of rock floating, and then which frees up Onyx's both hands to do CPR. Shitty CPR. Crappy CPR. There we go. That's better. Oh, God. No, it's still not good. So that's a 10 plus 2. That's if the medicine check had advantage, which it did, he rolled a 2, which is like the fourth 2 that this purple die had done so far today. But it's not unbalanced because I did check it. So the medicine check, 10 plus 2, that's a 12. Barely better than the 11 he did last time. But that still doesn't do enough. So Toot Toot will come by and just and then kind of place his hand on Rock, who it was a little too hard, so Rock's body like dips down into the muck, but the buoyancy of Rainier helping him out and Rock's natural buoyancy keeps him up. Toot Toot will do a magic. He will do a level 1 cure wounds. Oh, shit. Toot Toot is now out of level 1 spell slots because I didn't write down Dissonant Whispers. Oh, boy. That stings. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's all fine. Great. So, with the cure wounds, then Toot Toot goes... He places his hand on Rock and goes, crap, we're swimming in crap. This is the stuff I can do without. Come on, get up, you half orc. Come on, and pumps a D something. Flock of hairdos. Let's see. I think that's right. Right? Who sings that song? Talking to you, come on. He rolls a D8. On my D8s now. Okay. D8 plus 3. 4, 7. So, Rock. He spurts out stuff and then he throws up because him and Tipsy are full on covered in schmutz. Rainier splashed. Onyx knelt down. They're 3/4 covered in schmutz. Toot Toot, pretty okay. But Rock is now up to 7 hit points. But Rock and then has the, like, when you throw up and you don't have a lot in your stomach, so you throw up that stomach acid, it's just that, and then it like pools on top of the schmutz everywhere already. And he goes, oh, I need to do something about my health, because there's not a lot of it. Armor class 2, and then all 3 of them kind of steady Rock up, and he shakes himself off. Everyone's just covered in shit. Boy, howdy. I don't think I could have like a shitty situation, even though that's a very good episode title. I want it to be like PG-13, and shit's fine. Maybe like a crappy something for the episode title. I'll think about it. But boy, everyone's just covered in stuff, and so they're catching their breath, but kind of breathing a little more shallow, and then you see the like waves, a little bit of waves coming down the sewer pipe as Tipsy is dragging the dagger in the gazer eyeball and just bringing the buoyant eyeball behind him, and kind of rips the dagger out and then pushes the gazer towards the group and then wipes it off, like fruitlessly wipes it off and then puts the dagger away. And it bobs, and then, like, it's pretty gross. This was a gross encounter. I liked it. It was awesome, but then the gazer's slowly filling up with shit. But then Onyx takes one of the eye stalks and wrenches the gazer out of the muck and kind of shakes it, and then it bop, 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 bop. And then he tucks it under one arm, and then he realizes his hands are empty. And then looks around through the muck. He will have disadvantage. Okay, so he would have disadvantage, but he'll do this. Hey guys, I put the silver ingots down. Can you help me find them? And so now everyone is rolling a disadvantage to try and find the silver ingots, which they're kind of just potting around the bottom of this sewer with their foot. So Onyx will just have a straight roll, because it would have been disadvantaged because he can't see him, and just him going. And then, but with the help of everyone else, that'll make it up to advantage. It'll cancel out. It'll just be a straight roll. So Onyx with a investigation. Yeah, investigation. Perception. No, he's investigating. He's trying to find it. A 10. Plus 1. 11. He finds one of them. The other one might have washed away. So he picks up one of the silver ingots, and after 5 minutes, then Rainier goes, gentlemen, I am sorry, but it might do us good if we continue on. And Toot, so he lost one of the silver ingots, but now he is carrying a volleyball of a gazer. The gazer I drew with an X over his eyeball, and then his 4 eye stalks have X's over their eyeballs, and then it has a frowny face because he's dead. And Onyx likes trophies, so that's what they're doing. And then Tipsy at this point, his black smudges are just mixed in with just the rest of... They're all filthy, and it's disgusting. So now they head off towards... Where's my book? Towards the sewer, and they... The shaft of light illuminated the palm-sized chalk handprint that goes up the way, and they continue on for another 5 minutes, and then they find themselves in the big map that I wanted to get to, but that was a pretty brutal encounter, which was great though. But so they get to the main sewer tunnel. Expands into a circular hub with a pair of arrow slits carved into its outer walls directly across from each other. It is dark now. They head to a T intersection, and it is dark. Back at the gazer encounter, that was the only light left, and now they're just trudging through the darkness again, and Tipsy climbed up to Toot, and now just his whole side is drenched with ick as Toot and Tipsy resumed their leading presence, and that's why they got there in 5 minutes. So they reach a T intersection, and they let's see. They can feel that the water is heading from north to south, and a stone door is set into the back wall of a stone ledge just in front of them and to the left, to the west. And then to the south, you see two flashes of eyes staring at them, and then they disappear, and then you hear a splash, 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 deep down the south end of the tunnel. And then Tipsy, who's been watching this, sees that and goes,
Oh, God.
and then hears the splash. And then Toot Toot is hearing the splash, like a very distinct, different splash from a different echocational location from the four that they were all going towards. And Tipsy's like, oh, gosh,
Okay. Let me down.
and then Toot Toot lowers him down, and then Tipsy goes,
No, there's a ledge right here.
and then they splash over to the ledge, and then Tipsy, who can see it, and Onyx, who can see it, and Rock, who can see it, kind of, they scramble up to the, this ledge that is above the foot of sewage. And Tipsy goes,
Okay.
He will roll something. I won't tell y'all what it is. Oh yeah, with a 19. Yes, he will get it. He goes,
That looked familiar. Let me go. This is very scary, but let me go investigate. Can one of you come with me?
and then Toot Toot and Rainier are kind of both blindly looking into the darkness going, oh, you're down there. Yes. I don't think I should go. And then Rainier goes, I think I would be a hindrance as well, so I will volunteer to stay here. And Tipsy goes, yeah, no shit, not the two with the darkness. And Toot Toot goes, I can hear, though, very well still. Tipsy goes, I'm sorry, I'm just covered in shit. I understand, we all. And you see his trunk do like a chameleon tail, completely rolling in on itself all the way up to his mouth. Just
The smell, I am very sensitive to smells, and this is a lot going on.
And Tipsy goes, we're all, yeah, okay. Rock, Onyx.
And then Rock looks down at Onyx and goes, Onyx, I don't feel that I would be the most useful individual to stay behind looking after these two very powerful beings. I would feel more comfortable accompanying Tipsy, if you don't mind, because you are a damage dealer, so that would make me feel better. And then Onyx already has plopped down on the ledge, and he's kind of turning the dead gazer over and over, and the eye stalks are just flopping. And go, what? Yeah, I'll say it's fine. And then he is just looking down, distracted. And Ron goes,
very well. Tipsy, I will accompany you.
and then
Tipsy goes, great, okay, so let's be quiet. And can you carry me? I'm sorry, I don't want to ask.
And Rock goes,
I have no strength, so no. Fine, okay.
and they quietly go down the south end of it. And now it's dark. If you can imagine, it's like grayscale, because you can't see color in dark or super dim light. And you can hear just the, like, kind of the rush, the natural liquid sewage going down and pushing them a little bit, and it's just the pipe keeps going down into darkness. And it's a little scary, and they're both going half speed so that they can go quietly. Let's roll some goddamn... So, Rock's stealth, which is +2. Okay, this is like the 5th time this purple one rolled a 2. I'm taking it out of commission. So it's a 2 plus a 2, but he has advantage because he's with Tipsy. So that's a 17. 15 plus 7. 15 plus 2. So Tipsy will roll with advantage also. Oh boy, that's not great. A 4 and an 8, but he has a +9 to stealth because he's a rogue. So with a 17, both of them have a 17, so they're good. So they're
slowly going, and then they reach a point. And when you saw the flash of eyes, it was just 2 circles and then into darkness and then splash, 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 splash. You couldn't tell from all the way where they were what the height was. And Tipsy looks, and then to the right of the wall, there is like this sizable crack, and it goes up, but it goes up just a couple feet where it could be passable, traversable. And it thins up halfway up the wall and just turns into a normal crack. But Tipsy's like, okay, so Rock, I will go in first, and you do magic shit. And Rock's like, I can do magic shit. Magic shit I am good at. So he will actually prepare some magic shit, which I didn't even think about. But if that's the conversation. Cool. Neat. Okay. So Rock goes, I'm good at magic shit. And then his fingers sparkle with the same white blue light that he got hit with the gazer. And it's just sprinkling around his fingers, and little tiny snowflakes like fall and drift into the darkness. And he's holding that, and he goes, I will wait for your signal. And then Tipsy kind of hoists himself quietly into the crack, and he can go through easily, but a medium-sized creature would have to like duck down and then not struggle, but very purposefully move through here, whereas a small creature could easily go through here. That's a siren. Hold on. Convenient for a water break. Excuse me. Boy, howdy. That's a difference, huh? When I mute it and then hearing the fans go, please, Dad. And I'm like, no, 2 computers work for me at the same time. Oh, please. So, to set the mood again, it's quiet. My boys are being very quiet. And Tipsy steps into this crack, and he walks carefully in it, and he can see some light ahead. And he can feel Rock like bending over slowly and carefully and walking kind of hunched over, but he's prepared this spell. And then when Tipsy goes through the wall, then a chatter of teeth comes out, and they're yellowed teeth, sharp, and a little like the gazer noise. I didn't mean to make that, but just, and it's dirty white fur and these snowblind pink eyes, and just, and then Tipsy goes, holy shit, no! And you hear from behind, please, we told you we do not want any more trouble. We are leaving you be. And Tipsy goes, golly! And then Rock, you hear from behind, I can't get a clear shot. You unfortunately are in the way. And then you hear further into the light, no, please, Papa, please move back, please. And in this commotion, you see drawn from the foreground of the camera back is these 2 small figures. One has it is a small halfling girl with wet, wiry black hair going down, a little olive skin, with some dirty, like a skirt and some layers, and she's pulling back this grotesque form. It's the top half is a halfling size rat, but it's white fur that has just been so dirtied with age, and like it's missing half an ear, and the other one has bit and like tears in it, and then these pink eyes are bugging out and snowblind, so it's not really seeing. It's just biting, and some of its teeth are broken and black and dead, and the stench was bad, and they're yellowed, and the like the fur is matted and dirty, and the lower half is this raggedy pair of pants and this frail tail that is pink but looks thin and nasty, and bare feet, which are kind of not bare feet, but no shoes, but they're kind of feet, rat feet, little claws with white fur on them. And the halfling woman is pulling her back and gesturing towards Tipsy and Rock, going, "We are leaving you alone. We don't want any of your business. You get out of here before." And then shoving past her is this other were-rat form, and this one looks healthier, and whose eyes are those same flashes, the circles, the discs that you saw in the dark, and as they blink, then they turn into regular like seeing eyes. And it's a better bottom torso to like better pants, but it's this like dark brown fur, and it comes out and it's trying to attack at Tipsy also. I will roll for that, huh? 16. Yeah. Let's see. 16 plus 4. Sure. That hits. So this better were-rat shoved the halfling woman out of the way and comes up and bites at Tipsy, and with a 16 plus 4, that's a 20. That'll hit Tipsy's 17 armor class, and just, oh dear. Okay. It'll bite like at his chest, and Tipsy goes, "Gah!" And let's roll damage first, because this might have just gone very wrong very quick. So that's a 2. So it's a 1d4 plus 2. So a 2 plus 2. So that's 4 damage against Tipsy. And then Tipsy needs to make a throw right now. Oh my god. Okay. Tipsy needs to make a Constitution saving throw. Oh my god! That is so close! Holy shit! Oh my god. Y'all. Tipsy has a +0 to Constitution saving throw. He needed a DC 11 Constitution saving throw or something very bad happen, and he rolled a 12. So he succeeded by So this were-rat bites Tipsy like the clavicle, and Tipsy and then pushes, and then the rat kind of skids back, and Rock is still behind Tipsy, going, I still do not have a clear shot. Either you move forward or... And Tipsy goes, his best Charlie Day impression, and he goes, "Ow, I don't know what you all are talking about. We're just looking for our friend." And the halfling woman goes, "Your friend? Like we are supposed to believe that?" No. We're supposed to be looking for Floon. We were sent by Volothamp. Ow. We're here. Something about Zents and Xanathar." And then Rock goes, "Yes, the Xantirum and the Xanathar Guild." And the halfling woman goes, "Wait, so you are not part of Xanathar Guild?" And Tipsy goes, "What?
No! No! No!
And she will roll an insight check. Oh, that's good. Insight. What is insight modifier? Insight is wisdom. Were-rats don't have any wisdom. So the 16 to Tipsy's persuasion, which is 0, that's fine. Tipsy, well, let's see what Rock's persuasion is. Okay, so Tipsy rolled a 6. He has 0 to persuasion because technically he doesn't have any charisma, but we all know he does. Rock rolled a 13. He has a +1. God damn it. He has a +1, so that's a 14, but because of his saddle, I need to fix this because this is definitely broken. His saddle gives him disadvantage. So that's a 2, but it's a different 2. Golly, this episode is going all over the place, which is amazing. So Rock goes, yes, the Zantirum and the Xanathar and oh god, and one of his straps of the saddle around him, because he's kind of ducked low, goes like, is just loose because of the schmuck, like it's a bra strap that goes over, and and then he grabs at it with his prepared ray of frost, and then he like shoots the ray of frost like upside his head, so you could see this blast of cold energy, and then and then Tipsy's like, wow, and then both of them are struggling, and she's like, okay, come on. So, you are seriously not part of the Xanathar guild? And then both of them are kind of really flustered. No, we are looking for our friend. Do you know where Floon Blagmore? Is that his last name, really? But it's been a long time. I don't remember. Yes, Floon definitely, though. Floon is? And then everyone kind of calms down. So she... the two were-rats... now that everyone's kind of calming down, the halfling woman is stroking the white, dirty fur of the one were-rat, and then she gestures to the other one who's still like prepped, and then she goes, Remy, we are fine, you go continue taking care of the supplies. Papa, you sit, okay? And then the one she called Remy just and then scurries off into what is now, your eyes are adjusting a little bit, is a lit basement. So it's this really, it's snug. There are two doorways and then like a staircase that goes up, and you can see some boxes, but the two doorways are open, and you see further on into darkness, and like there are some sheets and stuff, and you hear Remy rummage through the northwest one and then grab a sack and then throw it over his shoulder and then kind of stare down at the Tipsy and Rock, and he wipes his furry paw across his mouth, which is streaked with Tipsy blood, and as he does so, then the arm turns into this olive-colored arm and just normal flesh, and he turns into a halfling with a mop of scraggly brown hair, or like dark brown hair, black hair, and these dark brown eyes that are actually, since they're all olive colored, then his are like a light honey brown, which is the same color that you saw the two discs, like a light iris, with their caramel skin, which actually looks pretty nice. And then he looks down at Tipsy and Rock, and kind of straightens the sack on his shoulder, and then continues upwards, and then you hear a door open, and then it close, and you can hear above. And then the halfling woman goes, Papa, it's okay. And then she looks up, and then her eyes are like this gray blue, which in comparison to her olive skin also looks very nice. And so she and she's stroking the hair, which slowly recedes, and the muzzle of the rat form. The one named Remy on the stairs, he turned into a regular human form pretty quickly, but this is taking its time to to transform, to shapeshift back into a human figure. And then what you see is this very pale, older halfling who has the same pink snowblind, so he's not really looking at anything, and scraggly, pointing everywhere, white hair, and like a beard but no mustache, and he looks very worse for wear. Like his arms, kind of like Onyx, have still the white hair, and his hands and his feet don't go back to normal human digits and palms and stuff. They're still kind of rat paws by the end, like, of the transformation. And then he is sitting down, and his ears, in his hybrid form, one was like chewed off and one it was cut up real bad, and as they returned, then you could see chunks taken out of the ear, and like his teeth are real mangled and bad. So he's sitting down, and she goes, it's okay, Papa. Okay. So you are looking for a friend. And she looks sternly at Tipsy and Rock, who Rock at this time, Tipsy, please step forward. And Tipsy goes, yeah, no, fine. Ah, jeez. And then he steps forward, and then Rock now straightens up, and then he is showing his hands, and there's no magic flair to him. He's just showing that he is unarmed, and he straightens up, and he kind of, thank you. And it was uncomfortable. And Tipsy goes, yes, we're looking for our friend, but if he's not here, then we will let you be. I'm sorry. And at this point, the halfling woman is still kind of running her fingers through her dad's hair, and she goes, just leave. No harm done. We are not part of the Xanathar Guild. We want nothing to do with them. We have uneasy truths. And you can see her dad is just kind of moving his jaw a little bit, and he's staring at the ground. You can tell that he's not totally with it. And she's still, she has angry eyes as she's looking at Tipsy. And then she like turns and then talks to her dad in like a series of squeaks and chirps, like her face is pointed towards his ear. And then Tipsy's like, oh, I can speak a little rat too. And then she looks up sternly. Yeah. We are good guys. We're just trying to find our friend. We don't know where he is. You don't have him. So we'll just leave, but we are good, I promise. And she goes, so what, you speak rat? And he goes, yeah, well, and then he reaches into his pocket, and then he pulls out Waddles, whose little white and red scarf is stained with schmutz. And he holds him up and like, Waddles, this is, that one was Remy. Oh boy, wow, really, really bad at this, huh, Rock? And Rock goes, I technically have more charisma than you, but not by much. And Tipsy goes, okay, I'm Tipsy. This is Waddles. he squeezed Waddles a bit, and Waddles goes, that's Rock. Rock the purple, right? Yes, the purple. And we're the good guys. And then he looks out at the halfling woman waiting a response, and she goes, that is Remy. He is my brother. I am Cleo. And this is my papa, Algernon. But we do not have your friend, so please go. And then Tipsy, okay, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so he backs up into Rock, who's just he gets bumped. Boom! Ow! Stop! And Tipsy, I'm sorry. We will leave, and then Waddles like wriggles out of Tipsy's hand and then falls on the ground, and then walks up to Cleo, and Tipsy goes, "No, wait, Waddles, come back!" And then Waddles comes up, and then sniffs around Cleo's feet, and and you can hear Tipsy in the background. No, Waddles, please, no, stop, please. And Waddles goes up on Cleo's feet, and Cleo has on some like leather boots, and then Waddles looks up at Cleo, and Cleo, her face softens, and then Waddles like sniffs over to Algernon and climbs up his leg, and then you can see Algernon like wince unlookingly, unseeingly, and then Waddles climbs up Algernon, and Algernon has on, well, he doesn't, because where rats don't transform with their clothes, they don't shapeshift with their clothes. So he doesn't have a shirt on. So you can see like this really old man, kind of flabby tummy, but it's thin, and unfortunately it looks like a homeless person, and you just feel real sad. But Waddles kind of like, and then you see Algernon's head perk up a little bit. And then he responds. And then Waddles kind of curls up in Algernon's lap. And you hear a... And then Waddles looks up at Tipsy with a smile. And then Tipsy goes, I don't know. That's my rat. I'm sorry. Should I go get him? I mean, you told me to leave, but I don't want to leave my rat here. And then Cleo is staring down at this rat in her father's lap, who yawned. And then kind of curls up, and then Cleo, with just a confused look, looks up at Tipsy, who Tipsy's just and then looks back down at Waddles, who's closing his eyes and kind of just curled up in Algernon's lap. And she bends down and then covers her mouth, and then you hear, and then so her and Waddles are talking a little bit, and then Algernon, you can hear a muffled rat speak as they have conversations, and you see Algernon is engaged with rat speak, but not with the common language like English. And then after a while, after what seems like a little bit, then Cleo extends her hand out to Waddles, and Waddles like gets up and does a forward stretchy thing, and then climbs into Cleo's hand, and then Algernon's hand comes up blindly, and then Cleo recognizes this cohesive movement from her father, and then brings up Waddles to meet her dad's hand, and Algernon scratches a little bit, and then you see a broken toothed smile on Algernon's face. He said something and Waddles responded, and then Algernon puts his hand down, and Cleo is staring dumbfounded at this strange new rat, at this strange new gnome, at her father. And then she kind of gets up from the kneeling position that she was at, and then walks over to Tipsy, and they're about the same height, which is why gnomes and halflings at the beginning. And she extends her hand out to Tipsy, and then Tipsy, wide-eyed, is like, "Thank you for my rat. I appreciate this. Please don't bite me again." And then hands Waddles over, and then he's just like, "Rock, let's go. Rock, duck down, duck down." And so they both start backing out. And as the camera pushes out of the small crevice, then you see Cleo returning to her father, but still staring down at Tipsy, and Rock as she resumes stroking her father's hair with a quizzical look on her face. And then we're back in the dark sewer pipe, and Tipsy, just in the darkness, you hear Rock go, "Well, that was something, wasn't it?" And then Tipsy is absentmindedly scratching Waddles, and he goes, "It sure was. Ow. Maybe Tutu can heal me. Let's go." And then as Tipsy and Rock head north, with the vision of the gray-blue eyes in his head, then they go up to meet the other three who... my human and my Loxodon, their eyes, they're just uselessly blinking and trying to adjust their eyes to the darkness, and they're staring not at each other and like down the thing. Does Toot Toot have any light? Because that would have been fucking useful. Excuse me. Not magic wise. Oh wait, no. Rock has the prestidigitation. Let's see. In his inventory, does Toot Toot have any? He has a candle. But does he have a tinderbox? Fucking no. Are you kidding me? He needs a goddamn tinderbox. Well, Fart. He doesn't have anything, and then Rainier doesn't have anything because everything was taken from him. And Rock, nope, Onyx is still sitting on the ground, tooling around. You can see him kind of like puppeteering one eye stalk, like just waggling one eye stalk and adding the other one. And then when they hear the splashes coming up, then then you hear Toot Toot, like Toot Toot is listening, and then he hears the splashes coming up, and he goes, Are you okay? What happened? Is everything fine? And then you hear from the arrow slits, what? Oh! And then 2 arrows are shot out of these arrow slits. And we will pick up there next week. I will be in North Carolina next week, so that'll be a fun little adventure. But ding ding, wow, what a great episode. That was cool. The gazer fight that went completely unexpectedly. And then I have been looking forward to the were-rat scene since I read about them in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's happening, people. It's happening. Excellent. In this last 6 minutes here, thank you so much for watching with me. I will read all these comments later, but my name is Victor Rivera, and this was D&Me, where I play Dungeons & Dragons with myself. Please follow me at DnMeAdventures. That's N like gnome, not an ampersand, and I am a Twitch affiliate. I do YouTube. This goes on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and I am turning it into a podcast soon. Tipsy's #1 fan redeemed 10 channel points. Nope, 100, but then also 200 now to say great episode, and then lots of celebratory, like, whatever those things are called. Blowers? I don't like that. Yeah, find me on all these D&Medias at my D&Me handle. I stream Wednesday nights on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I throw this up the next day on Thursday morning on YouTube. So today's show will be up Thursday, September 16th, and next week's episode, again, I will be in North Carolina, will be Wednesday, September 22nd. And I think I finally figured out a good outro where I roll to see which of my characters say goodnight. So it is down to the last two. Evens is rock, odds is onyx. Onyx. Good night. Sleep tight. I have a gazer now. That's cool. Well, thank you. Good night.